To KBC Lunchtime News, and first and foremost, we do apologize for bringing the broadcast a little bit late due to that safari rally. But away from that, welcome. My name is Njue, and Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter, my director. All right. First and foremost, let's have a look at the Morocco earthquake, where at least 632 people have been killed and 329 others injured in an earthquake tragedy Friday night in Morocco. According to state television that cited the Ministry of Interior, the earthquake is the strongest in a century, with a magnitude of 6.8 on the Richter scale, killing people in Marrakesh and several areas to the south.
The strong earthquake that has killed hundreds hit a building within Marrakesh city around 11 minutes past 10 Friday night. City residents were left stranded. Many were in their apartments when the earthquake struck, forcing them to scamper for safety. The core of the earthquake was the Al Houza region in southwest Morocco. The Interior Ministry said the earthquake killed people in the provinces and municipalities of Al Houza, Marrakesh, Ouarzazate, Azilal, Chichaoua, and Toradat, adding that at least 329 people have been injured. Many of the victims are believed to be in remote areas. Piles of rubble of damaged buildings are left in the street of the historic city of Marrakesh after the disaster. Various leaders across the globe have extended their condolences to the families and relatives of the victims of the terrible earthquake and offered to help in relief efforts. The death toll is expected to rise.
Now back home, Busia Senator Okia Omtata has vowed to keep the legal battle against the Finance Act of 2023. This follows the Supreme Court's decision to uphold the Court of Appeal ruling to throw out conservatory orders banning the implementation of the Finance Act. Speaking in Busia, Omtata said the hearing of the case challenging the act will commence Wednesday next week. He faulted the Apex Court for rejecting his petition on grounds that he did not follow the court's procedure of submitting only 15 pages.
Ile kesi ya finance bill inaanza tarehe 13 huu mwezi, yani wiki inayokuja hii. Ndio tutaanza kulimana kwa hiyo kesi ya Finance Act na mambo mengine ambayo inahusiana na Finance Act. So Wakenya wakae wakijua kwamba kesi haijatupiliwa mbali. Hii ilikuwa tu motion ya conservatory orders ambayo koti imekataa kuangalia, lakini kesi yenyewe iko imara. Na baada ya hii finance bill hii safari ni safari ya kupitia kila kipengele kwenye chapter 12 ya katiba, kuhakikisha kwamba serikali inafanya sheria, inatumia pesa ya wananchi kulingana na vile katiba imeamua. Chapter 12 hii finance bill imechukua tu article 220 and 221.
And still on governance, the Senate Committee on Agriculture is now rooting for biotechnology in food production, a move they claim will address food insecurity in the country. The committee noted that with the rising population and challenges brought about by climate change, the country needs to increase food production through new farming technology. This emerged when members of the committee met experts to discuss the way forward on the issue of genetically modified crops, which continues to attract mixed reactions from Kenyans.
We've seen that we've been relying on food supplies and food handouts to our people. It is time that we came up with the question, can we come up with a variety of a crop that would adapt to the changed climate? And therefore, if we embrace biotechnology, we can be able not only to address the food shortage, but also save on the many millions of dollars that we use to import pesticides to address coffee diseases or plant diseases or even crop diseases. And we would also address the issue of being able to extend the lifetime of some of the products that we have. Therefore, it would be a technology that would help us to be able to sustain the country in terms of food supply.
Away from that, residents of Tasia Estate in Embakasi East constituency, Nairobi County, have faulted a section of politicians for allegedly grabbing public utility land in the area. The irate residents say the politicians have been working in cahoots with a group of people to put up a perimeter wall around the public land. They now want the relevant authorities to intervene and ensure those involved are brought to book.
Ndio tunataka kuambia MCA hivi, shirikiana na community, kwa sababu labda wewe ni mgeni hapo juu public utility. Shirikiana na community, mjue jinsi mtaweza kusecure public utilities.
This problem of grab of the public utilities, which we do not want, and it is all over Tasia.
That is why they are trying to prevent the perimeter wall that the communities are putting up to secure the entire space. And we are sending a very strong message to whoever is working with the ward admin, ward manager, that we are not going to entertain this kind of gerrymandering, this kind of grabbing of public utilities.
Elsewhere, two opposing sides at the Garissa County Assembly on Friday nearly came to blows as they fought over who should occupy the office of the Leader of Majority. Trouble started when the ousted team led by Majority Leader in the Assembly, Abubakar Khalif, tried to access the office which was already occupied by the opposing side led by Dadaab MCA Mohammed Abdi Farah. The previous day had seen changes made which as the Majority Leader.
While we were away, and the Speaker, in collaboration with a few members, presided over an illegal and procedural and removal of all Azimio leadership. As you see, it's clear in the law that when a political party or a leader is removed from the office, there need to be a communication from office of the whip, inviting members to come to that meeting with the shared agendas at least 7 days prior to that meeting, and it has never happened.
Sisi kama County Assembly ya Garissa, sisi ni uhuru na tuko na haki ya kufanya sheria, kufuata sheria na kufanya ile inatakikana, na haya tumefanya kwa kuangalia sheria na tulifuata vizuri sana, na hakuna haja tumjulishe yote. Ile tungejulisha ni kwamba ni saile hii yote tumefanya vizuri sana, na hiyo changes imetendeka, ndio tupeleke kule Nairobi wajue kwamba we have a new leadership in Garissa ambaye ni Azimio, lakini si ati lazima tuambie wao ile kazi tunataka kufanya.
Have not been consulted, neither were they informed, and the rules and the procedures are very clear that you have to inform the national office. The Speaker received that document, he signed it, but he has refused to abide by it. Thirdly, we went to court. We have an order stopping the process, confirming that the former official holder the office holders, there is a stay order to that effect, and that the office holders are still in office. He has also refused to abide by that. So we are surprised if the Speaker is unable to follow the procedures of this House, if he is unable to follow the procedures of Azimio as a party and respect the decision of Azimio as communicated to him by the highest office, if he is unable to follow the procedures as contained in an office that is of higher authority than he is, the courts we are talking about, we are wondering what kind of rules that the Speaker wants to engage.
Capital in Delhi has invited the Africa Union to join as a permanent member. South Africa was the only African country in the G20 before today's summit that is being held for the first time in South Asia. among other things, climate change, food security, and death risk.
Asanti na karibu kwa matangazo haya ya leo. Kuanzia Jumatatu ifuatayo.
Waza padhe bana, jo kumekuwa na operation hapo hivi. Manguru amekuwa na operation hapo Riamba Tai, lakini si nimefimbitika bana. Tuache niwapeleke na Riamba Tai kwanza, si ndio? Oya. Mimi unaweza nitakatelo ama unaweza nitakwako mbogini akibu.
Wait, kwa you can do what? Kwa you were there you can do what that impact aja tu nitambambize. Guys, iko hivi. Kila Jumatatu tupatane KBC Channel 1 for the chipukizi, so itakuwa safi, so ya nguvu.
Umuri mko related ama naweza mtoka tenje. Naweza cheza kama mimi, si ndio?
Nipukujia huyu.
Kwanza, si ndio?
Estaré contigo cuando tú lo quieras.
Where is she going? To see her husband.
A while ago, I saw you with Danielle
And you know what, Aunt? Today I admit that you may be quite right.
You know, you don't need to lie to me.
Now I want you to leave. Get out of here. Go. Get out.
What is going on between the two of you?
Isabel, you've arrived just in time to save
me. No. Don't listen to her. She's a liar. Please, I'm begging you, Isabel.
He's saying that I'm a liar because he doesn't want you to know the truth, but then he...
Will you please shut up?
You see how he treats me.
1 year in office, 23 ministries. Time to review the journey in implementing the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. What is your assessment of the government's performance? Will they ace the performance test? Tune in to KBC News at 9 p.m. for the government scorecard.
Alafu kisha wewe wafikira mimi nitakuogopa? Mara mtoto wa Zito, mke wake Zito. What nonsense. Sasa sikia nikwambie. Listen to me and listen to me good. You either get out from here or I do something that you will regret for the rest of your life. Got that? Now leave.
Mimi sikubali. Siwezi ondoka paka matumeza mtoto wangu.
Wewe nenda. Toka nje.
Siwezi ondoka.
Alafu sasa sikiza nikwambie. Wewe ni clients kama clients wengine, umenisikia?
Wasemaje? Wasemaje?
Maini. Jaribu kunigusa uone.
Sikiza Jamal. Shamsa is my wife. Achana naye. Sawa. Achana na Shamsa.
Welcome back. Just in case you joined us, this is KBC Lunchtime News. I do apologize for that technical hitch in that earlier story. Allow me to now revisit that story again. The G20 Summit currently underway in India's capital, New Delhi, has given the green light for the African Union to join as a permanent member. South Africa was the only African country in the G20 before the announcement. The two-day summit that is being held for the first time in South Asia is expected, among other things, climate change, food security, and debt restructuring for poor countries. United States President Joe Biden, United Kingdom Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, and the President of France Emmanuel Macron are attending. However, Vladimir Putin of Russia and Xi Jinping of China are missing in the summit but have sent representatives to attend on their behalf. And back home, a fire outbreak has razed down a section of administration block at Lugala Primary School in Kakamega County this morning. Efforts by locals to put out the fire on time were unsuccessful due to an extra padlock on the school gate. The cause of the fire is still unknown, though residents claim the school head has in the recent days been in a push and pull with parents who accuse him of bad governance of the school. This even as Rugari MP in Parliament, Nabi Nabuera, has called for patience as his administration work towards upgrading classrooms in the constituency from the current mud structure to modern classrooms.
Ofisi imeungua. Kwa hivyo mimi nashangaa kuna wale ambao walikuwa wanasoma huko, certificate ziko huko. Sio watapata zingine na namna gani? Serikali sasa kama wanaweza pata certificate zingine.
Kuna pia shule za zamani ambazo wakubwa wa afya wametoa ilani kwamba either watoto wahame ama ziboreshwe. Shule kama hizo pia tunafanyia kazi. Ukienda sahi Mugunga, hayo madarasa ambayo yalikuwa yamesemwa haifai, tunaiboresha. Mlimani primary tunaboresha. Chepusai huko chini tunaboresha. Pia kuna shule ambazo tunapea vifaa maalum. Shule ya watoto walemavu ya Mkuyu tunawapatia bweni la kisasa ambalo linatoshana na ulemavu wao.
Sasa tunapoweka hii msingi sitaki usimame.
Now, the Ministry of Health has rolled out a grassroots strategy that seeks to end AIDS in children by the year 2027. The plan will focus on the triple testing algorithm, provision of ARVs and prevention care. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha, who launched the plan in Homa Bay County, says the nurses will continue to play a critical role in testing of expectant mothers despite earlier resistance from accredited counselors. Statistics indicate that at least 4,000 children are infected with HIV in Kenya annually.
The plan launched by the Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha will see the government introduce a triple test algorithm, provide ARVs and roll out prevention measures as it seeks to end AIDS in children by 2027.
This journey to end AIDS in children requires the active participation of all stakeholders. And to achieve our goal, we must embrace new thinking and innovation. We need to break away from the conventional approaches and explore creative, evidence-based solutions that prioritize the future of our children.
Countries with a prevalence lower than 5%, like Kenya, they are using 3 positive HIV tests. So if a screen is positive, they will do a first confirmatory and a second confirmatory. And as the Minister has rightly said in her speech, this will enable for a much higher positive predictive value. So it leads to far less retesting. It gets people on treatment faster, and that really needs the treatment. And it also cuts down on false positives.
If it achieves the feat, Kenya will become amongst the first countries that will beat the World Health Organization's set target of 2030. Nurses will continue to play a critical role in testing of expectant mothers, despite earlier resistance from accredited counselors.
And in this fight, we are going to begin from the grassroots, working with the grassroots, and by the grassroots, for the grassroots.
Kuna watu wengine wanasema ya kwamba our nurses cannot be able to test for HIV. And in our integrated HIV delivery platform in maternal child health, it is the nurses who are there. As a country, we cannot be able to afford to bring laboratory specialists to level 3, level 2 facilities.
Nakumicha declared the fact that despite tremendous effort from the government, mother-to-child transmission is still rampant in the country.
However, we have this small matter, mother-to-child transmission rate. It remains high at 8.6%. Treatment coverage for children living with HIV is 85%, with about 74% of those on treatment virally suppressed. This performance is very concerning because in adults, we have achieved 95%.
Micha was joined by Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga, among other stakeholders in the sector. Achona Simon, Lunchtime News, Homa Bay County.
We are talking of domestic resources, so private sector is a critical player in our fight against.
The government has stepped up the war against the use of contraband chemicals by rolling out a nationwide crackdown. Crop Development Principal Secretary Kelo Harsama says the government is aware of individuals selling contraband products. Officials from the Pest Control Products Board have been deployed to various locations countrywide and are expected to visit agrochemicals and farms to ensure prescribed standards are adhered to. The PS spoke in Moya Sub-County, Kirinyaga County during Agricultural Expo organized by Agitech Seedlings Company, where he urged farmers to register for the subsidized fertilizers.
We have standards which prescribes the right chemicals, the right fertilizers, and all these things which require regulatory supervisions. I think right now they are visiting various agrovets, they are visiting farms to ensure that the right chemicals with the right standards are used in farms.
So basically it is very important for us to, as young men and women, to embrace agriculture, to understand and to learn from each other, because it's only when you employ the best practices that you can actually make agriculture pay.
From the war on contraband to the war on illicit and drugs, where the National Authority for the Campaign Against Drug, Alcohol and Drug Abuse is concerned with the use of veterinary medicine to boost euphoria from heroin use by a section of drug addicts in the Coast region. According to NACADA Acting Chief Executive Officer Professor John Muteti, 20 samples were collected from drug users in Mombasa, Kwale and Kilifi counties and handed over to the government chemist for analysis and identification.
Maybe the RC will, under my chair here, will also... The scientific evidence from our mission evidently shows that with the emerging evidence of non-medical use of veterinary drugs, there is urgent use to institute measures to regulate and control the diversion of such drugs into the illegal market. This includes a strong consideration for scheduling of xylazine and other veterinary drugs prone to abuse to avert such instances. The scientific inquiry into emerging trends and drugs in the country does not stop with this revelation. It is a stepping stone to continuous surveillance and broader multi-sectoral strategies to effectively address this challenge.
Now, the National Assembly's Committee on Tourism and Wildlife has proposed a change in the language used in compensation forms from English to Kiswahili for the benefit of victims of marine animals attack. At a public participation forum to discuss the Wildlife Conservation Amendment Bill of 2023 in Faza, Lamu East, Acting Chairman of the committee, Hamisi Chome, said the language barrier has contributed to many victims missing out on compensation. At the same time, residents are proposing expansion of the list of animals deemed as dangerous to humans. The bill is sponsored by Lamu East Member of Parliament, Reida Mohamed Obo.
Na KWS na waomba, na nimewahi kuomba mpaka kiwango cha waziri, kuwa zile processes za kufanya watu wapate fidia, they are cumbersome, they are very long, ni kizungu mingi. Tafadhali ile form ifanywe user friendly.
Tunaathirika kiuchumi, kimawazo, tumesikia ndoa zinavunjika. Kama hawalipwi zingine ndoa zinavunjika. Na kumlipa mtu haimaanishi kwamba ndio umekidhia zile haja zote. Lakini angalau katika ile miezi 6 mtu aweza kwenda kwa duka akachukua mkopo, ule mwenye duka akiwa na tamaa kwamba huyu atalipwa na mimi atanilipa.
Into some sporting action now. National soccer team Harambee Stars jetted back home from Doha after edging out Qatar 2-1 in an international friendly match played at the Al Janoub Stadium on Thursday. Kenya is using the matches to prepare for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers, which are set to kick off between the 13th and the 21st of November.
The game was fourth friendly match for Harambee Stars since World Soccer Governing Body FIFA lifted the international ban on Kenya in November last year. The team, coached by Ejin Firat, will face South Sudan in its second friendly match this month on Tuesday next week here in Nairobi.
I know how it feels for the Kenyans in Qatar. Happy that they get proud. Every match has its own story. Importance for me how the team is developing, how the players react to what we are doing in training, how they adapt. So, like I said, the players are in a good way. They try their best, and we'll see what will the future bring.
Kenya is using the matches to prepare for 2026 World Cup qualifiers, which are set to kick off between 13th and 21st November.
Mechi ilikuwa ni nzuri, Wakenya tulicheza poa. Ni game ilikuwa haikuwa rahisi kwa sababu tulikuwa tunacheza ugenini, lakini wachezaji wote walijituma. Experience pia nzuri kwa wale vijana wengine, facility nzuri, uwanja wa World Cup Stadium. So kwa hivyo najihisi vizuri, na pia ni pride kwa nchi yangu kuweza kupata matokeo nzuri, especially katika mazingira kama hayo ugenini.
In the qualifiers, Harambee Stars are placed in Group F alongside Burundi, Gabon, Seychelles and Ivory Coast. Kingori Mwangi for Lunchtime News.
Some good progress from our boys. And now to a sad news in the sporting world, where veteran sports commentator Sean Kandovilis passed on at his house along Rafter Road in Westlands, Nairobi. Police say Kandovilis' body was found this morning outside his house. In 2022, he was admitted to a city hospital after being diagnosed with pneumonia, prompting his family to appeal for help to clear his medical bills. An autopsy is planned to establish the cause of the death as part of the probe. Kandovilis is among the most renowned sports presenters and personalities with more than 20 years of experience in radio and television. He has previously worked for Capital FM, Standard and Nation Media Group. Among his achievements is winning the 2007 CNN Multi-Choice African Journalist of the Year Awards. It's indeed a big blow to the sporting world, and may his soul rest in peace. And on that note, we have come to the end of KBC Lunchtime News this Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much for keeping me company. My name is Njue. Do have yourself a blessed weekend.